Dorothy Pearson in Langhorne, new one-time customer. Scope of work's going to be overgrowth cut back and then kind of clean up of some overgrowth along the road here. So starting in her back side yard, access to it, there's a gate, big gate here you can utilize. So basically what she wants done is all the overgrowth that's coming over the fence, she just wants it cut and taken away. There is an azalea bush here, you can leave that alone entirely. There's like a vine growing on, so if you can yank that, but basically starting down here, just want to cut everything we can. I mean, some of it's kind of growing in between the fence, so I would just take a string trimmer and kind of lightly hit it, trying to get as much of that as possible that you can. But I'll put a disclaimer in there, some of it is intertwined, we're not going to be able to get every last bit of growth. The other thing I would say, probably if you access the backyard, probably going around the back here might be easier to start, unless you want to just go from the front, it's fine too. Maybe I guess the front's fine, but so you can see there's a little bit of a path here, and she wasn't even big on this, but I was thinking let's do this. So well, let me just say the front. So yeah, cut all this, you know, hedge clip it, string trim it, chainsaw, whatever you got to do, cut it all away, leave the azalea alone, get it on tarps, haul it away. Disclaimer would be there is poison ivy in here, so this is the one I'm even debating on doing, because typically I'll come out and spray in advance, although she said she has pets and well waters, she doesn't want anything sprayed. But like that 3-leaf is poison ivy, and that is really the only poison ivy that I'm seeing, is that bit there. Anything with a 3-leaf, so it seems to be most of the low stuff is the poison ivy. So definitely cover up really good if we are going to tackle this job. All this stuff seems to be fine and good, it's just the low stuff down there. So yeah, so just cut it all away, get it on tarps and get it out of here. The other thing I was going to say is take a brush cutter, take a string trimmer, whatever, go outside the fence and behind it, and we want to cut back growth like 1 to 2 feet off of the fence line, so that in like 2 weeks it doesn't continually grow through the fence line. So cut all that stuff. Now I did tell her all the stuff behind it, because I want to minimize you guys touching anything, if we can just hack-a-shack it and then leave it back there, and she said that's fine. So anything you cut back there, you're just cutting, you don't have to worry about picking it up. Just want to cut it so that it's not growing right through in a week or two. But everything that's on this side that you cut, looks like a lot of like forsythias and things of that sort, we'll get on tarps and we'll haul out of here. So that's the portion of work in this area, and then the other portion of work will be by the street. She's got forsythias along the road, but she wants like the viney growth that's growing on them kind of taken away, and then some of the junk that's on the ground taken away. So you don't need to trim the bushes at all, she's not concerned with that, she's just concerned with all of the growth. So all the growth down here on the ground, kind of busting it out with a string trimmer, all the viney stuff growing up top, kind of pulling all that off. There's a lot of, it's pretty aggressive, like you can see this vine, it's like a lighter red kind of, and then you see the bush. So just pulling all that off and yanking it out of here, and then busting out all this growth that's on the ground on all this stuff. Down here doesn't look as bad, but you kind of see it hit or miss, like there's a vine, yank that. You see some funky stuff growing down here, yank that out. Yeah, this one I thought might be poison ivy because it's 3-leaf, but it looks like it's a wineberry, so it's not a poison ivy. Actually, it's like a red fuzzy with 3-leaf, but I think that one's good. See which ones to be cautious of here. That looks like the wineberry too. This might be. Yeah, you got poison ivy down there. So that stuff, luckily it's low, so you could probably just string trim it, rake it onto a tarp. Shouldn't have to touch it too much. And all this vine stuff, I can't imagine it's poison ivy, but Let's triple check it. Nah. Porcelain berry, not poisonous. So all that vine stuff should be good. It's just some of the 3-leaf on the ground. Yeah. So overall net of it is most of the poison ivy is the same type. It's this right here. This 3-leaf is poison ivy. I don't see a ton of it really, and it's all pretty low. So I would say we might be able to get away with string trim it, still cover up to be safe, and then rake it onto a tarp. I would try to attack the poison ivy portion of it first, over here as well, same thing, and then that way if you have to use your hands on anything, you at least clear the poison ivy. So do the poison ivy crap first, string trim it, rake it onto a tarp, get it out of the way, then worry about cutting all the other stuff. So that way if you pick up the other stuff, you know poison ivy's not mixed in there for the most part. So that's it.